because you talk about it in a kind of a certain distance. It's not you, it's the characters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's extremely powerful. So that is that's one of the first things that I would say about the power of storyline, that you are giving children the opportunity to role play. You're also giving them an opportunity to work within a structure of the story, so they feel secure, but you're asking them to be creative and to solve problems. For example, all the time, supposing we had a small business going and a theme, and I said, well, we would like you to, you've created your business, nobody knows out there about your business. In how many different ways could we let people know that we have a new business going here?
Okay.
Now, immediately it's a lovely structure for freeing the children to suggest as many ideas as possible. And we would write these up on the board. And then we would say, right, you've suggested a jingle, a radio jingle. I could say to them, what do you think makes a good radio jingle? And then you have the criteria for a good radio jingle. It should be short, it should be snappy, it should be catchy, it has to give certain information and so on. They tell me what a good radio jingle has to have in order to be successful. And then I can say to them, there's your structure for a good radio jingle. I'm going to give you 20 minutes now to create this radio jingle. And they create the radio jingle, and then I say, is it a good one? Let's test it against the criteria that you give me. And so you've got a cycle, which I think is one of the powerful things that we're giving to children. We're giving them the tools to operate as independent learners. We're saying in any task that you're doing, you have to create the criteria for success. What do I have to do in order to get success here? And you come up with it. It may not be complete. You may need to ask people, do you think that this is, what I need to do and so on? And then you come up with your model based on this, and then you test your model.
But still, I mean, I can't help thinking a little bit as a conventional teacher.
Yes.
And so I think, well, if you're teaching a subject, and the children, they come up with something that's totally wrong or bizarre. How you're teaching history, for example, and they come up with some totally bizarre ideas that they've got from comic strips or something like that. How do you handle that? Can you accept that as a starting point?
I think I'm happier that I know about that bizarre idea, because then I can do something about it. If I never ask the children to come up with their ideas, then I would never know. That child can be sitting there in my class with a head full of bizarre ideas. And sometimes bizarre ideas aren't all that bizarre. In one of the well-known topics that we do about the river people and the forest people, I watched in Scotland a little boy make a character who was living in the river village, and he dressed this character up in fish skins. And all the other children were holding their noses as they passed this character, because they thought, fish skins, who in their right mind? And about 1 week after I had visited this classroom, I was visiting Jokkmokk, the museum, Sami museum in the north of, I was working in Luleå. And what did I see? Fish skin vests and of the Sami people. And the teacher didn't know that. I didn't know that. But the child was using a logical thinking process and is not inhibited by coming up with the idea. So why not? Why not? And it was right.
Okay, You have used the expression about the storyline, a structured reflection of life. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yes, I think that what we are trying to do is to make children feel secure about their life, and to give them an opportunity while they're young and creative and imaginative to to think in a very positive way, in a very happy way, you know, and free from the kind of cares and worries that we have as adults later. To see life in this, like a book, like a story, so that the structure of the story is secure. The structure of each activity is organised in a way that children can get success, so that they feel involved, they feel ownership, they feel that they want to be part of it, and they don't want to be left out. You know, one of the difficulties we had in schools that we were working in the early days was that some children would only come into school when they were doing their topic work.
Oh, okay. So
the rest of the time they stayed away, and that was a wee bit of a problem.
Yeah.
But it tells you something about the enjoyment that children would have, and I think that this feelings of security that they got, they were still doing the work at their own levels, of course, but they were still doing the work, but engaged with a context that gave an audience and a purpose. And I think that's very, very powerful.
But what many teachers might miss in that situation is the possibility to push the children a little bit, because they have some goals that they have to go for. So what about assessment and
this is an interesting one, because the teacher as designer is an interesting model, and my own view is that there will be some teachers who feel insecure in that role. They want to be much more in control than a good storyline teacher would be. When I'm working with storyline teachers, I'm suggesting in your mind is an aim, and it can be it should be a curricular aim of some kind. And it could be the geography that I'm expected this year to cover the geography of Europe, or you know, a historical period or something like that. And I would be thinking as a designer of a story that would meet that challenge. And so I've got a focus for whatever I would want to do. If I'm teaching history, it would be a historical topic. If I'm teaching geography, it would be a geographical topic. But that doesn't mean to say we're not doing lots of other things. You can't do any topic without tremendous amounts of language in a whole wide range of types of practice.